Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to do a playthrough of Heroes of Tenefyr. We're also going to use the expansion, The Second Curse. I really think this expansion made this game from an okay game to actually a really fun game. You have to push your luck in this game, and you have to understand that although it's a deck builder, it's much more about pushing your luck than building the best deck that you ever can have. Mike has a playthrough of the base game as well as a Kickstarter playthrough using prototype components with the expansion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a solo playthrough using the legendary mode. So you guys can see what this legendary mode is like. I actually haven't played it yet, so this will be the first time. I'm excited to try it. Legendary mode is an alternative way to play the game. I think it looks really cool, so I'm excited to show you. During setup, each player chooses a number of heroes as shown below. Take the hero and skill cards for all your chosen heroes, shuffle those skill cards into your deck. So, since I'm going to be playing a one-player game, I'm going to grab 3 skill cards. So I'm essentially playing as 3 heroes here. I'll have 12 level 1 basic cards and 12 level 0 basic cards. So the 3 heroes I'm going to play as are the Tactician, the Enchanter, and the Paladin. Here we have the cards that will consist of my starting deck. 12 zeros, 12 ones, okay. And the 3 skill cards, I'm going to take all 3 of these piles, shuffle them together. Now, I don't really need this, but if ever I needed to have a card that stated who I am, I'm just going to use this Tactician's card to say that that's my player. Next, we're going to take 4 random level 1 dungeon cards from the reserve and then choose which player to add these cards to their deck. Well, that's going to be easy. It's all going to be me. So I'm going to randomly choose 4 level 1 dungeon cards. Now, if you don't know anything about this game, we're going to be fighting enemies in a dungeon. This is going to be the side that's the enemy side. When we defeat it, we will flip it over and put it into our deck, and this is going to be the hero side. So I've grabbed 4 of these. We've got the Goblin Druid, which will now be in our deck, the Connect with Nature card. We've got the Giant Rat, which will be Hidden Potential. That sounds cool. We've got the Orc, which will be Quick Strike. And our last one, we have Training. So all 4 of those now I'm going to shuffle in my deck as well. We have some setup changes. During setup, choose 2 different bosses and shuffle all their cards together to create a boss deck. So I thought it would be fun to show you guys the Bog Witch. That's one of the new ones. And then I really like the Dark Lord. So I'm going to play against the Dark Lord and the Bog Witch. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to shuffle them together, and I get to reveal the top one. Basically, this just means we have to defeat 2 bosses to win the game, which is kind of cool. Okay, this guy has no special ability, but since we're playing a solo game, you always look at the 2-player count. This card of the Dark Lords has 13 health. So we know the first time we face the boss, we're going to have to defeat a 13. Now we're going to create 2 dungeons of level 2, 3, 4, and 5, just like normal. But we're not going to create any level 1 dungeon. Instead, we're going to create 2 level 6 dungeons. For each level 6 dungeon, I'm going to take 3 random level 4 dungeon cards and 3 random level 5 dungeon cards and shuffle them together. Most of the time, or I should say usually, these levels will have 4 cards each. So these level 6 ones will actually have 6 cards in them. Also, instead of a reward card, we're going to place a random curse card next to each of the 2 level 6 dungeons. These curses affect all the cards in that dungeon. So what I've done is I've grabbed 2 random curse cards, and these curses are going to be effect in those specific dungeons. I'm going to grab 6 random cards to set those up. Those are between level 4s and 5s. I've also grabbed 2 random level 2s to level 5 reward cards, and I'm going to create those dungeons. All the other dungeons will be just 4 cards based on that specific level. So for an example, if I was setting up the level 3 dungeon, I'm going to grab 4 random level 3 dungeon cards, and I will flip the top one face up. I'll show you what it looks like. As I've set up the dungeons, one of the things that I've done that in the base game was an optional rule, it's now required when you play with the expansion. You need to remove all of the cards from the dungeon that are specific to a certain hero type. So this one is for the Technomage. So since I'm not playing with the Technomage, I am not having this dungeon card in any of the dungeons, because otherwise all of this text is useless if you're not the Technomage. Now, if I'm playing with the Technomage and let's say I gain it as another hero or another character, I can use the rewards cards as ways to give them to other players. But we don't have to worry about that. We're playing just solo. Nice and simple. So I've removed all of these from all the level 1 through level 5 dungeon cards. Here we are. We have created our dungeon. This is our level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. You can see the top enemy is revealed, so we can look at that enemy as well as we can see what that potential or the benefit will be on the flip side when we gain that card. We can also see what rewards we would get in those dungeons. You only gain that reward when you've completely cleared that dungeon of all the enemies that are in there. And as you can imagine, the farther up you go, the harder it is to get through those. So now, all we need to do is set our difficulty and we're ready to jump in. As you can probably imagine, I am not great at this game because I push my luck way too much, so we're just going to start on normal. How this is going to work is we can go into any of those dungeons. We don't have to do them in any order. Each time we leave on our own fruition from a dungeon, we're going to move up one space on this track. If ever we have completely depleted our deck of cards and we have not defeated an enemy that is in that dungeon, then what happens is we get kicked out of that dungeon. If you get kicked out of a dungeon, boom, boom, you get pushed 2 spaces up on that track. Why this track matters is when we get to the end, we're going to have our boss fight against our 2 bosses. So we need to make sure our deck is ready. Because remember, we have 12 zeros in that deck. Do you think we're ready to take on the boss? No, definitely not. The last thing I did want to mention, since I'm playing with the Enchanter, I do have the enchantment deck here, so I've just shuffled that up and set that to the side. To start us off, let's go ahead and look at our 2 level 2 dungeons, because I'm going to be honest, we're not ready for a level 3 yet. We're hardly ready for a level 2. So this guy, we would need to be able to do 4 points of damage to him. At the start of the combat, the starting player, which I will always be, searches their deck for 2 basic 1 cards and discards them. Well, that's terrible. So he'd start off by basically killing our deck. Conversely, this ogre here has no special ability, but we do have to get to a total of 5 to be able to defeat it. But if you look at the benefit on the backside, it's just 2 damage. I kind of like that. And let's look at the reward card. So if we do get through this dungeon, we can have each player, since I'm only a single player, I can choose this 1 time. I get to choose 2 of these abilities. I can remove 1 card from my deck. Hey, a 0. I can also search my deck for up to 2 basic cards and put them in my discard pile. So I can put zeros in my discard pile for the next dungeon. And I can give a card to another player that's useless because that's just me. I think let's start with this dungeon. When you're playing this solo, you actually get 2 turns. How this works is I will draw 3 cards from my deck, and then I'm going to choose whether I want to keep them or I want to trash them. If I don't feel like it's a great hand, I can discard them and draw 3 more cards. Once I've decided that I like the 3 cards that I've drawn, I will play those cards in any order. After I've played those cards, we check to see have I had enough damage to defeat him. If I have, he's defeated. He goes into the player's deck who defeated him, which would be me, and then we would decide if we want to leave the dungeon or keep delving and reveal the next card. Since I'm playing solo, I get to do that 2 times. If after that second time of me choosing my cards and playing them, I have not defeated this enemy, or I've run out of cards in my deck, I get kicked out of the dungeon and I get pushed 2 down the dungeon track. So let's start it off. We're going to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, and 3. Let's see what we get. Okay, we got a special ability. You may remove a card of your choice from your discard pile. Well, that's great, except I don't have anything in my discard pile. We have a 1, and then we have our Tactician. Our Tactician states, if you are the Tactician, which I am, you may shuffle this card into your deck. If you do, 1 player may search their deck for a card of their choice and put it on top of their deck, and you may draw 1 extra card. So basically, this Tactician ability lets us pick any card that we want, and we get to put it into our hand, and then we'll shuffle our deck. So I definitely think I'm going to keep this hand. Now, since I'm keeping it, I can play these cards in any order, and I have an idea. So I'm going to play the Tactician first. After I play that, I get to search my deck for any card, I'll draw it, and then we'll keep moving forward. I've shuffled my Tactician skill back into my deck. I've chosen the Paladin skill to put on top of my deck, and I get to draw it. And it says, if you are the Paladin, which I am, you may discard the top card of your deck to double the power of 1 of your cards, and each player may shuffle up to 2 cards with 1 power from their discard pile into their deck. It's good, it's not great. I still have an idea. Let's see if this works. So then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this 1 basic card. Then I'm going to play the Paladin card. By playing the Paladin card, I can discard the top card of my deck. Oh, it was a 1. That was what I was worried about. Bummer. But that's going to let me double the value of this 1. So now I have 2 total power. Remember, I need to get to 5 to beat this ogre. Now what I can do is have each player, and I'm just one player, so I can take this card and shuffle it back into my deck. I'm definitely going to do that. I have a total of 2 power here. I'm going to play this training for 3 total power. Now what I was hoping was that I would flip a 0, and then I could have used that to then burn the 0, but that didn't work. So let me shuffle this up. I have now done my first turn. Remember, I get 2 turns. I have 3 damage here. I need 2 more to take out that ogre. Let's go ahead and draw our 3 cards. We have a 1, beautiful, a 0, and a 0. Bummer. So that's not enough. Remember, we had 3 damage before. That's 4. We need 5. So I'm going to discard that and draw again. We've got a 0. Then we have the Enchanter skill, and we've got a 0. No, we can't keep it. I want to use the Enchanter's ability, but I can't keep this because we won't defeat the ogre. So I just have to discard it. We're going to keep going. 1. Oh, come on. 2. Okay, 1 more point of damage. 3. Yes! All right, so that's 2 points of damage plus the 3 from our first turn. So that's a total of 5. We just defeated the ogre. So the ogre's card, Smash, now goes into our discard pile. And we'll have that for the rest of this scenario. Now we have a decision to make. Do we want to keep pushing through this dungeon, or do we want to leave it, move up 1 on the track, and then grab all of our cards from our discard pile and shuffle them back into our deck? Definitely not. I want to continue pressing on, but I have to decide that before I flip. Okay, we now have the Balancing Spirit. At the start of the combat, each player shuffles all basic cards from their discard pile into their deck, then each player discards the top 4 cards from their deck. Whoa, so basic cards are 1s and 0s. I had a total of 8 of those that I had flipped, so I'm going to go ahead and put those into my deck. I'll shuffle them and then discard 4 cards. Now, I only need a 4 to defeat this guy. That doesn't sound terrible. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's our 4 cards we're going to discard. 2 1s and 2 0s. Okay, our first draw. Let's see. And we get a 0, a 0, and a 0. Well, I think it's safe to say we're going to discard that hand. Okay, our next one is a 1, and a 0. We're definitely keeping that one. That's half the damage we need. We only need 4. So I'm keeping that. I could play them, but it doesn't matter. They're played out, and it's just a 1, 1, and a 0. Our second hand will be 0, 0, and 0. So I'm going to discard that to redraw. We've got a 1. Ooh, we've got a 1. And we've got a 0. Well, the 1 and 1 will definitely work, so let's see what this ability says. If you are the Enchanter, you may draw an extra card. If you are the Ranger, you may remove a card from your Wolf discard pile. I'm not the Ranger. I'm the Enchanter, but I don't want to draw an extra card because I have 2 damage there, 2 damage here. That's a total of 4. We now just gained the Calculated Thrust. So I'll put that into my discard pile along with all of these cards. I still have 11 cards in my deck. I think I'm doing okay. So I think I'm going to press on. This is enemy number 3. We have the Frogling Ranger. At the start of the combat, the starting player searches their deck for 2 basic 1 cards and discards them. Oh, well, that's terrible. I've got 2 here. I've discarded them. I'm going to shuffle my deck. And now we need a 4 to defeat this guy. Let's flip for our first turn. We've got a 1, oh wow, and a 1. That's 3. We're definitely keeping that hand. So that was our first hand. And then our second hand, 1, oh my gosh, a 0, and a 1. Quick strike. You may draw 1 extra card. I'm not going to go again. I only have 3 cards left, so maybe I can activate a skill. So yeah, let's draw an extra card. Ooh, our Tactician. Yeah, okay. So we'll play our Tactician. Let's look at our 2 cards in our deck. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we play. I just wasn't sure if I had another skill or anything. I have 1, 2 damage here, and 3. That's a total of 5. That means this frog is now Guidance, and I will put that into my deck. And of course, by my deck, I mean my discard pile. Now, I could choose to continue on, but I only had 3 cards. Highly likely I'm not going to defeat this enemy, which is a bummer because I'm going to have to go back into that dungeon if I want the reward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end my time in that dungeon. I'm going to leave. But since I chose to leave, I did not get kicked out by not defeating an enemy. I only moved up 1 space on our track. We then get to reveal this enemy because you always get to see what the top one is. Oh, it's a golem. I'm really glad I didn't leave that one. During their play step, each player may draw 2 extra cards and then discard 1 card of their choice from their hand. Ooh. Oh, and I love his ability. So now I have to decide, do I want to waste a whole nother round to just get that card and the reward, or do I want to go to a different dungeon? Well, against my better judgment, I've decided to just go against this golem for our second delve into the dungeon. I really want the reward, so I'm just going to go for it. What I've done is I've shuffled up my entire deck now with my discard pile, so those other 3 cards that we've earned from going through this level 2 dungeon are now in this deck. So we need a 6, and we have the ability that during our play step, so after we've chosen which cards we're going to play, we get to then draw 2 extra cards and then discard one of those cards if we would like. We need a total of 6 to defeat this golem. So we've got a 0, and a 0, double the power of one of your cards. Now, okay, we're just going to discard that hand. Let's go again. Okay, here's a 1, and a 1. I'm definitely going to keep that hand. So, because now I'm keeping that hand, we move into the play step. During that play step, I get to draw 2 extra cards and then discard one of the cards from their hand. So I'll have the Paladin, and the 0. Well, I'm definitely going to discard the 0, and then the Paladin. If you are the Paladin, you may discard the top card of your deck to double the value of, or the power of, one of your cards. And each player may shuffle up to 2 cards of their choice. Yeah, let's use it. So the first card I'm going to play is that 1. Then I'm going to play our Paladin card. And that means we get to discard this top card. It's this 1. That's actually kind of a bummer. But that means this is a power level 2. Now, with the expansion, they do give you these tokens, which I really like. So this is considered 2 total power. And now we can choose up to 2 level 1 power cards from our discard pile to shuffle into our deck. Well, the only one we have is Guidance. So let me grab that and I'll shuffle it in. We're all shuffled and ready to go. The last 2 cards I have are just 1 power. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 total power for our first hand. We need a total of 6, so let's start our second hand. 1, our Tactician. Oh, beautiful. Let's see. If you are the Tactician, which we are, I can shuffle this into my deck. I can choose any card, draw it. I'm going to do that with a 0. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this into my deck. I'm going to grab a 0, draw it. Actually, it doesn't even matter. This is the only card. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to do any of that because we have 2 more damage plus the 4 from before. We've defeated the golem. This will go into our deck. Beautiful. And I'm going to be a little bit crazy because actually this will matter, and you'll see why in just a second. I've put a specific card on top of my deck, and you know what it is? It's my training one. You may remove a card of your choice from your discard pile. See you 0. So our 0 is gone. That's why I wanted to do that. Beautiful. Now we can put this golem into our hand. Or I should say deck, because we have now completed this dungeon. That does mean we've moved up 1 more on our track. Now, because we've completed a level 2 dungeon, we can remove 1 card of our choice from our deck. What do you say, another 0? So now we have 2 zeros that have been removed from our deck. We may search our deck for up to 2 basic cards and put them in our discard pile. So we're going to start with 2 basic zeros in our discard pile for the next scenario. I'm not going to do the third one because I'm not giving a card to someone because I'm only playing solo. The question now becomes, we've completed 1 dungeon, we've got tons more that we can explore. Are we ready for a harder dungeon? I don't think so. I think I'm going to do, and I should have mentioned that I do have our camp token here. I can place it here to denote that this is the dungeon we're going to. I'm hoping we can maybe push through all of this in one go, and if we do, then then we have to go to a level 3 next time. We'll start against this Froglin Ranger. At the start of combat, the starting player searches their deck for 2 basic 1 cards and discards them. So now I have 2 level 1 cards, basic power 1 cards, and 2 power 0 cards in our discard pile. But all we need is a 4. Let's take them out. We'll start with our first hand. We'll draw 3. Oh, we have our Enchanter. Hopefully I can do this one. Oh, we have a Guidance, and we have Hidden Potential. I think I'm going to have to keep this hand because I really want to use my Enchanter. It's going to mean our second hand we'll need to do 2 points of damage. So we have to play these in a certain order, so let's do that. The first card we're going to play is Guidance. It says 1 player may remove a card of their choice from their discard pile. Well, we've got those 2 zeros. That's perfect. Let's get rid of one of them. Gone. Then it says you may draw 1 extra card. Let's do that. Maybe it'll be 2 or something. Oh, it's our Tactician. Okay, let's play our Tactician next. That's going to allow us to draw a card from our entire deck anywhere we want, and then we'll shuffle it, and we'll shuffle this back in. That actually was pretty epic because we get to grab Smash. So now we have 3 damage. Well, I'll go ahead and play Hidden Potential. That says double the power of one of your cards. Well, one of the cards I played was a 2. 2 times 2, or doubled it, is 4, plus 1 is 5. That's more than enough to defeat the Froglin Ranger. So we'll be taking out that Ranger, but not before we also do our Enchanter skill. If you are the Enchanter, you may draw 3 enchantment cards. Choose one and enchant a dungeon of your choice, except the current dungeon. Discard the other 2 enchanted cards, and you may draw an extra card. I do not need to draw the extra card. What's nice, though, is I get to enchant another dungeon. We get to flip 3 of these cards. I haven't seen any of these because I've never played with the Enchanter. We have the Bladed Brambles. During their turn in this dungeon, each player may discard the top 2 cards of their deck to get +1 power. Discard this card when the last enemy is defeated. Okay, that's pretty good. Gives you another way to get +1. We have the Mystical Banana. When you enter this dungeon, choose 1 player. During combat in this dungeon, you may discard this card to let that chosen player draw 2 extra cards during their turn. Whoa. I think I might, that's one that I'm leaning towards taking. And our third one, Grasping Vines. During combat in this dungeon, the Enchanter player may discard this card and discard the top 2 cards from their deck. If they do, all basic 1 cards get +1 power this combat. I feel like the Mystical Banana. I'm thinking my next dungeon will be this Greater Worm one, so I'm going to go ahead and put this enchantment here so I remember its affects this dungeon only. Well, we totally clobbered this Froglin Ranger, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this around and put it into our discard pile. I'm definitely going to press on. What do we have? We have a Shade Shifter. At the start of combat, choose another face-up card in any dungeon. This enemy gains the text of that card. That is interesting. I think I like this Greater Worm. During their player step, each player may take 1 basic 1 card from their discard pile and put it in their hand. Heck yeah. We need a 5 to defeat this guy. Let's do it. We'll draw our top 3 cards. Oh my gosh, we have our Tactician again. We have Training and we have a 1. I'm definitely going to keep this hand. First thing we get to do, because we're moving to our play step, we get to grab 1 basic 1 card from our discard pile and put it into our hand. So this is what we have. We have to activate these in a certain order, I think. So let's start with our Tactician. We're going to play this, shuffle it into our deck, and grab any 1 card. That's amazing. I love that. The card that we chose was Headbutt. Now, I'm not going to do the effect there because I have 2, 3, 4, and then I've got Training here. For 5, you may remove a card of your choice from the discard pile. I have another basic 0. See ya. I have now removed 4 out of the 12 that are in my deck. I love it. And I have 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means this Shade Shifter is now an Emulate in my deck, or discard pile for now. We've taken out 2 enemies with only 1 turn. That probably means I should have moved to level 3. Oh well. We'll take the upgrades in our deck. We have our Peckish Plant. This enemy gets +1 power whenever a player draws cards during their play step. Okay, so if we draw any cards during our play step, I'll put +1s next to him. He's at a 4 for now. Let's start drawing. We have a 0, we have a 1, and a 1. So that's 2. I think it's likely we'll get 2 with our other one. So let's keep this hand. So we've got 2 damage going. Oh yes, 1. Oh, we have our Paladin skill, and 2. You may choose to draw another card. Yeah, this is great. That's 4. That's enough damage. I'm not going to use the Quick Strike effect, but I do think I'm going to use the Paladins. We're not going to do the top. If you are the Paladin, you may discard the top card of your deck to double the power. We don't need to do that. We'll do the And effect. Each player may shuffle up to 2 cards of their choice with 1 power from their discard pile into their deck. So I'll go ahead and grab... Let's do these 2, and I'm going to shuffle those 2 into my deck. Thank you, Paladin. I didn't do any drawing during the play step, so the 4 is good. We'll put the Natural Blessing into our deck. We are definitely going to push on to that final enemy. We have the Rotworm. This enemy gets -1 power for each basic 0 in each player's discard pile. We need a 7, a basic 0. I have 1 basic 0, and that's it. Okay, so he is a 6 for now. Power of 6. Power of 6. 1, 2, 3. Well, that's great. Let's reduce him to a 5, 4, 3. We now just moved him to a 3 because we're going to discard this whole hand. So he's a power of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, what does this say? If you are the tactician, this card gains the text of a card of your choice in any player's discard pile, or you may shuffle this card into your deck. Whoa, that's really cool. It gains the text of any card. I'm going to go ahead and have it gain the text of guidance. One player may remove a card of their choice from their discard pile. You may draw one extra card. So, because of that, I will destroy another basic 0. Oh, that's going to push him back up. I'll have to recalculate his total number. But then I do get to draw another card. Oh, that's a 0. Okay, so right now we are doing a total of 2 points of damage. He's at a 7 total power minus the 3 zeros in my discard pile, so he's at a 4. So I'm dealing 2 damage out of the 4. That's fine. I'm totally fine with that because that was only my first hand. I only need to do 2 more points of damage. Oh, there's a 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, first, you may treat this card as a basic 0 or basic 1 card even if it's in your discard pile. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then I can remove a card of your choice from your discard pile and a 0. Well, we have enough here. I'm definitely going to remove another 0, and then let's think. Let's make sure I have enough. So he's a 7. I've got 2 zeros here, so I need a 5. I did a total of 2 damage here. So 4, 3, 2 plus 1 is 3. Beautiful. Beautiful. That means I just took this guy out. The comeback is now in my deck. And I just completed that dungeon. Oh, I should have gone to a harder dungeon because I still have tons of cards left. All right, we're over here. This dungeon, each player may choose 1. You may remove up to 2 cards of your choice from your deck. I can also give cards. That's silly. I'm going to remove another 2 zeros. Just so you know, I started with 12 zeros, and this is how many I've already removed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I only have 4 left in my deck. The dungeon has dwindled. No more level 2s. We're definitely doing this level 3 because we put our enchantment there. Let's take on this greater worm. We're going to need a total of 8 damage here, and we have during their play step, each player may take 1 basic 1 card from their discard pile and put it into their hand. And don't forget, I have that mystical banana for an additional 2 card draw at some point. So we have comeback, a basic 1, and a 0. This is plus 3 power if you have 3 or more basic 0s in your discard pile. It's actually not a great card for me. I think I'm going to discard this because that's not going to be enough. So let's draw a new set. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I like this. So we're going to have a total of 3 damage already. I am going to play the Tactician. I'll shuffle it back in and find a card that I want. We've pulled out our card that we want. Right here we have Nature's Blessing. You may draw 1 extra card, which I'll do in a second. If you are the enchanter, which we are, and the current dungeon is enchanted, which it is, you get plus 1 power here. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We also have during our play step, each player may take 1 basic level 1 and put it into our hand. So we have this. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We get to draw 1 card. That is ridiculous. I swear I shuffled the deck. So I'm going to go ahead and pick another level 2 so we can just beat them. And here's a level 2. That's a total of 8. Beautiful. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all we needed to take out the Great Worm. 1 hand took him out. Should we keep going? We should definitely keep going. Let's flip. We have the Monstrous Moss. That doesn't sound good. We need a 6 here. At the end of the combat, the starting player removes a level 1 dungeon card of their choice from their discard pile. Ooh, are you taking my good cards, you moss? We'll start our turn. Let's flip 3 cards. We have Emulate, we have Guidance, and we have a level 1. I think I like that. I think I'm going to keep that hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Emulate. This card is awesome. If you are the Tactician, this card gains the text of a card of your choice in any player's discard pile. Yes, what I want to do is this one that I cannot say the word, Comempence or whatever. We have plus 3 power if you have 3 or more basic level 1 cards in your discard pile. So I have that effect. Now, I have this level 1, and I have this level 1, so that's only 2. But I have the Calculated Thrust. If you read this one, it says you may treat this card as a basic 0 or basic 1 card when it's in your discard pile. So that is 3 level 1s. That means this gets plus 3 power, which means this is a total of 4. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple tokens to remind myself of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for one freaking card. I will take that any day of the week. Then we have this one. You may remove a card of your choice from your discard pile. Do I want to get rid of anything? I do have a 0. Yes, I have a 0. See a 0. We'll get rid of that. I'm not going to draw the extra card because I don't need it, because I've got a 5 damage there, and this one is 6. 6 is what we need to take out this monstrous moss. Now, when we do that, we have to remove one level 1 dungeon card from our deck, or a discard pile. And let's see, do I have it? Ooh, you know what? I don't have any. I don't have any in my discard pile. I'll flip them over. We've got a level 3, a level 2, a level 2, a level 2. Actually wasn't bad because we don't really have a lot of level 1 dungeon cards since we didn't even go to one. So beautiful. Those just all go into my discard pile. We still have a whole deck of cards. This is insane. Let's go to the Frogleen Slaver. At the start of the combat, take a random level 1 dungeon card from the reserve and place it face down in the current dungeon under this enemy. That's not terrible. I've grabbed a random level 1. I'll put it underneath him. We need a 6 to defeat this guy. We'll do our first turn. We've got a 0. We've got our enchanter skill and a 0. Oh, I'd love to do my enchanting, but then I need 6 damage with our other one. No, I can't keep that. I got to discard that. That's a bummer. All right, we got our second hand, a 1, and a 0. That means I need 4 for the other one. I've used a bunch of our 2s. Oh, let's keep it. So we're going to keep that. We have 2 total power so far. Here's our second turn. We've got a 1. We can double that, so essentially is a 2 and a 1. Oh boy. So that would be a 2 and that would be a 3 plus the 2 we have. That's not enough. We need 6 damage here, and we only have 2. 1. Oh, there we go. 2 and 3. This should be enough. We've got 2, 3, 4 plus the 2 that we have. I'm not going to do the extra draw. That's 6 damage. That means we get to flip this over and put this into our deck. I will take that. We're starting to get low on cards, but I do know this is a level 1. Let's take it on. Just a goblin. We just need a 3. Let's see if we can take him out with 1 draw. We've got a 1. We've got a 1. And yeah, there's the 3. All right, let's see if we want to do any of these abilities. We definitely want to do the guidance. One player may remove a card of their choice from their discard pile. I definitely saw a couple more 0s, so let's get rid of another 0. I'm not going to draw an additional card. Then we've got this one. If you are the enchanter, you may draw an extra card. I don't want to do that. If you are the ranger, okay, I'm not the ranger. And yeah, we just got the 1. Beautiful. So that means this slash, which is pretty pathetic, goes into our hand. Now it's the question. We have this many cards left. Is that going to be enough to take on one more level 3? Do I risk it, you guys? Do I risk it? Of course I risk it. We're going to flip it. It's a level 7. Each basic 1 card gets -1 power, and each basic 0 gets +1 power. You little jerk, you unsettling fiend. I've just gotten rid of all of my 0s. Oh boy, we need a 7. I do have my mystical banana. Don't forget that. So that's worth 0. That's worth 1. And that, oh, yes, we're going to play this. We're going to play our tactician. Let's see what we can find. We've shuffled up. We know what we're grabbing, and that's our paladin skill. So I'm going to draw that. I'm going to go ahead and play our training card. You may remove a card of your choice from your discard pile. I know this guy wants 0s, but I don't want 0s. I'll just deal with him. So let's get rid of another 0 from our discard pile. Then we're going to go ahead and play our paladin, and we're going to double the value of this card, so it's a 2. Then we're going to have to discard the top card of our deck. Oh, it's our quick strike. But then what we get to do is take 2 power 1 cards and shuffle them into our deck from our discard pile. And I'm going to be kind of sneaky. And it says power 1. It doesn't say a basic power, so I'm going to grab this competence because I've got 3 basic ones in there, so that's actually going to be a 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab guidance. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these up quick. Okay, because we have to shuffle them into our deck like so. My third card that I'm going to play is a 1, which is 0. So right now we're dealing 2 damage to this guy. We need 5 more. Our basic 1s are useless, but, well, we've got our tactician. 1, 2, 3. I think I'm going to keep this hand. Well, I'm definitely going to keep this hand because this tactician will just give me whatever this card is. Okay, it's a basic 1, which is a 0. This will be back in my deck. This is useless, but I have +3 power because I have I have 3 basic ones in my discard pile. So this is 4, plus 1 is 5, plus the 2 I have is 7. Just what we need to get this minor blessing that will go into our deck. I also am going to, one player may remove a card of their choice from their discard pile. Let's see, do I have any more zeros? Or do I want to start going for the ones? Oh, I have another basic 0. All right, basic 0, toast. I didn't even use my mystical banana. How ridiculous. I'm also going to move up 1 on this track. I am doing actually really well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I could go up to 5 more dungeons potentially. Our reward for this dungeon, we're going to remove up to 3 cards of our choice from our deck. And here's the thing, all of our zeros are gone. So the 3 we're going to get rid of is the 2 basic ones. And since I don't have any zeros, this comeback is pretty terrible because it's +3 power if you have 3 or more basic zeros in your discard pile. That's never going to happen. So all 3 of those are toast. That's amazing. Let's go find our next dungeon. Well, we've cleared out 2 level 2 dungeons, a level 3 dungeon. What do you say we jump all the way to a level 5? I want to take on this giant. We've got some nice abilities here if we can get through it. But look at that. That's 5 damage on the opposite side. That just seems so appealing to me. So let's go ahead and jump into a level 5 dungeon. This is probably when I start losing because I start getting too excited. But come on, a level 5? We can get to a 10. That's all we need to do. We just need 10 damage here. Nice and simple. We've got Connect with Nature. Oh yeah, that sounds good. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let me read these quick and see if we want to keep this hand. If you're the Paladin, each player may shuffle up to 2 cards of their choice from their discard pile. That's terrible. Why did I draw that now? If you're the Enchanter, you may draw an extra card. No, this is only 2 damage. I have to discard this. I'm going to discard those, and let's draw again. We have a 0. Ooh, double the value. Come on, have a 2 or something. Okay, that's a 4 then. Yeah, beautiful. So I have to play these in a specific order. I'm going to play this one first. I'm keeping this hand, moving to that play step. You may draw 1 extra card and then discard 1 card of your choice from your hand. So then I'll draw this card. I'll just discard the basic. So I'm doing 2 here. I'm doubling it for 4, and I'm doing 1 here for 5. So I've got 5 damage. I need a total of 10 to take out this giant. Here we go. Our second turn, we need 5 damage on this. We've got a quick strike, a 1, and a 1. Okay, so that's 3. Now, I can hope that this is a 2, because I can play this and draw 1 extra card. There's nothing else I can do. If I don't do that, so let's say I decide to keep this hand. I play this, and this is not a 2, or not a way for me to get a 5 damage. I get kicked out of this dungeon. I get nothing, and I get pushed 2 down on the dungeon track. Oh, do I risk it or do I just draw again? You know what? I'm going to draw again. I'm going to draw again. I'm going to be safe. Let's see. Was it a 2? It was a 2. Oh, that's brutal. That would have worked perfectly. Well, you don't know. Okay, 2 damage, 3, and a 0. If you're the Enchanter, you may remove the top card of your deck and then draw a random level 2. But this is only giving me a 3 damage and I get a random level 2. Do I know that's going to give us 2 damage to get us to 5? Remember, we are at a total of 5 damage right now. I need 5 more. I like all the cards on my deck. I don't know what that random level 2 is going to be. I'm going to discard it. Oh my gosh. Okay, a slash. That's boring. I could have gotten rid of a slash. 1, 2. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Not enough. I need 5. I need 5. Okay, here's our Tactician. That'll help. We can remove a card from our discard pile and draw a card. Okay, I think 2, 3. This might work. I'm going to start by playing our Tactician's card. I have picked out the card that I want. You know what I want. This C-word name, which is going to give me a total of 4 power since I've discarded 3 level 1 power cards. So that's 4. I'm going to take this then and shuffle that into my deck, which is great. Okay, so I've done that. And then we can do this. A player may remove a card of their choice from their discard pile. I'm going to go ahead, because I've got 4 level basic ones, I'm going to remove 1 of them. And then I can play this. So this is 4, 5, 6, plus the 5 from before. This giant is in my deck. And then I'm going to run away like a scaredy cat. Because, well, do you think I can do 1 more with this many cards? And I have a Tactician in here so I could find what I want. Oh, the choices. Do we push? I say, why the heck not? Let's push. We have, oh no, the Dwarf Champion. At the start of combat, choose one player. That player becomes the starting player and fights this enemy alone. Okay, so what that means is that I need to get 8 with only one turn. Oh, I need to do 8 damage with one turn. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm getting kicked out of this dungeon. Let's see what we get. We get a 1. I can emulate. That's actually awesome. 2, 3. Okay, if I emulated, that's still not going to be enough, I think. I think as much as I want to be able to do this, because I can gain the text of a card, or you may shuffle this card into your deck. No, I think I'm just going to have to discard this. I'm going to discard it, draw 3 more. Oh, basic. Okay, that's a 2. At the end of the combat, no, that's only 3. And we have our enchanter. Our enchanter, I can laugh at you. We need help in this room. Okay, the tactician, a 1 and a 1. You may draw an extra card if you're in the enchanter, and this dungeon is not enchanted. Oh boy, we have 1 card here. Let's go ahead and use our tactician. We'll just draw whatever card this is. Oh, it's our paladin. Okay, oh, we could double the value of one of these and shuffle in, but we're not going to be able to draw. No, we're dead. We just got kicked out by that Dwarf Champion. There's 0 chance of us being able to take him out. So that means we get pushed 1, 2 on the track, and we only gained 1 card for all of that work. Well, I think it's safe to say we're going to stay away from the level 5 dungeons. Let's go ahead and try this level 4 over here. We've got a Tenefyr Drainer. At the start of combat, the starting player may discard the top 5 cards of their deck to give this enemy -3 power. I might have to do that just for, yeah, you know what? Let's do it. So we're going to discard the top 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's now only a 7. So all of these are in our discard pile. Okay, we didn't lose our 5. That's good. But now he's only a 7. Let's now start our first turn. We've got a 1, and a 5. Oh, beautiful. 5, 1, and 1. Dead. See, obliterate. I am so glad I got that. Let's put this into our discard pile. That was our first turn. I think it's safe to say we'll continue on. We've got the Ravenous Roots. We need 8. At the end of combat, if each player played at least 1 basic card, you must leave the dungeon. Only move the boss token 1 step. Oh, don't play any basics? I don't know if that's going to be possible. Let's see. 1, we need an 8. 2, 3. Okay, we have a basic here. Can I beat him without 2, 3? Oh, okay. Let's keep this hand. Let's start with this one. You may draw 1 extra card, then discard 1 card of your choice. Don't be a basic. Oh, beautiful. It's not a basic. So I'm going to discard this basic. Okay, so we've got 2 damage there. Then I've got this one. You may draw 1 extra card. Let's do that. That's not a basic. So that was 3. Then I'm going to play this. 1 player may remove a card of their choice from their discard pile. I'll go ahead and remove another basic 1. I mean, it's good and it's bad. It makes you not last as long. Do I really want to? Well, I'm going to do that one. I think I'm going to stop doing that. You may draw 1 extra card. Yes, I will do that. Oh, we've got an enchanter skill. Let's just play that. If you are the enchanter, you may draw from the enchantment deck, and we're going to enchant a dungeon. Let's definitely do that quick. And then we can draw an extra card. Let's draw the extra card now. It's not a basic. We'll flip our first one, and we have the Fragrant Bloom. During combat in this dungeon, whenever an enemy effect forces a player to discard cards, that player may discard 1 card less. Discard this card when the last enemy is defeated. Okay, not terrible, not great. This can only enchant a dungeon with an each player chooses reward. When you get the reward, the enchanter may choose all options. That'd be good in a cooperative game, but solo, a lot of times only 1 option is really viable. When you are not in a dungeon, you may discard this card to shuffle the cards in this dungeon, then flip over the new top card. Let's go ahead and grab the Rumbling Earth. I like that. I'm still hopeful I can take out this level 5 dungeon here, so I'm going to place it on that one. We're still trying to get to an 8. We have 2, 3, 4. Then I think I'm going to play this Minor Blessing. If you're the Paladin, each player may shuffle up to 2 cards of their choice with 1 or 2 power from their discard pile back into their deck. I'm definitely going to do 2 level 2s. I'll grab those, give them a good shuffle into our deck. And I said I wasn't going to do this, but I think I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to do Training. You may remove a card of your choice from your discard pile. I'm going to remove 1... I'm actually going to remove this Transform. I don't think I'm going to use this because I have to lose a random card and get a random card. Doesn't seem amazing. And it's a 0 power. So I've removed that. Okay, so for our first hand, we're doing 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. And none of these cards that we've played are basic cards, which is pretty amazing. Let's go ahead and check our next hand. Oh, that's a basic. This is a paladin and a basic. Let's just discard it. Let's discard it. Let's keep going. Ah, basic. The 2 is good, and that's not a basic. Now, I'm not sure about this, but I think I can do this, where I can play this card. It's only a 1, because I don't have enough 1s in my discard pile. I have that for the 3. So if that's 3 plus the 5 that I had before, that's a total of 8. Do I have to say I played this? Because I didn't have to play it to defeat him. I'm going to say not. Let me know if I'm wrong. But then that way we can keep going. Because then I would say we defeated him and we can keep moving through this dungeon. I think I want to. So let's go ahead and reveal our next one. And we have a Dark Unicorn. During their play step, each player may remove 1 dungeon card of their choice from their discard pile to draw 2 cards. Oh, it has to be a dungeon card, so it can't be a basic card. Let's go ahead and draw 3. We've got 1, a 0 we can double. Come on, be that 5. 5? Oh, that's a 2. Okay. We'll play this one because this is 5 damage. We'll double the value of this. That's a 4 plus 1 is 5. That's half the damage that we need. Do we want to remove a dungeon card to draw 2 more? No, if we have to do that, we'll do that with the second turn. So here's our second turn. We've got a 1. We've got our Tactician, which is awesome, and a 2. That's the end of combat 1. Let's go ahead and use our Tactician. So I'll shuffle this in and pick any card from our deck. We'll go ahead and grab this card, and that's our Firm Grasp one. You may draw 1 extra card. I don't want to do that. When this card is discarded from your hand or deck, shuffle it into your deck. But I think because I've played it, it gets discarded. But 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. We had 5 from before. This Dark Unicorn is ours. Now, I have a total of, 5 cards left in my deck? 1, 2, 3, 4. I am definitely not going against that last enemy, which is a bummer. I'm going to have to move this up 1. We'll reshuffle our deck, and we can reveal this. And, this is our Silver Sphinx. At the start of combat, take a random dungeon card from the reserve of a level of your choice and place it face down under this enemy. That's actually really cool because we can put a level 5 underneath him. We can get a level 4 and a level 5 card, and then it feels more worth it. So yeah, we're definitely going to stay in this same dungeon. Let me shuffle up my cards, and let's take this on. We're going to grab this random level 5. I'm going to slide it underneath this Silver Sphinx, and remember, we now need to defeat both of those to complete this dungeon, but I'm okay with that. We only need an 8 here. Let's flip our first 3. Oh, that's only going to be a 1. Okay, that's 3 damage, so we need a 5 with our other one. Now, let's just discard that. Let's discard and draw again. We've got a 1, a 4 in total, and a 5. Okay, this says, if you are the enchanter, you may discard an enchantment card from a dungeon of your choice to draw 3 extra cards. Whoa! This card isn't amazing. Let's go ahead and discard that. We're going to draw 3 more cards. So we have 1 plus 3, which is 4, plus 1 is 5, and 6, 7, and 8. One player may remove a card of their choice from their discard pile. Let's get rid of another basic 1. Beautiful. This guy is now into our deck, and he's a 3 damager. That's cool. All right, last enemy in this dungeon. Let's see what it is. We have an Armored Minotaur. Each basic 1 card gets -1 power. So each basic 1s are 0. Well, that's fine, because I've been pulling those out of my deck like nobody's business. Only need a 10. Let's draw for our first one. 1, 2, 3. Let's start with the Headbutt. So we can draw 1 extra card. And it's this one, which isn't really that helpful. I'll discard a power level 1 card. But I did play it. And then we'll do this one. You may draw 1 extra card. Absolutely. We've got this one. So we have 2, 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and play this for 4. I'm going to remove another basic 1. I'm just removing all the basic ones. 2, 3, 4, plus 1 is 5. So we've got 5 damage there. I'll take that for our first hand. Set this aside. Then our next one. Oh, our Tactician. I love it. Oh, double the value of one of our cards. Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Watch this. I've shuffled our Tactician's card into our deck and placed the card that we want on top. Oh, look at that. It's a 5. Oh, wait. And guess what? We're going to double the power of one of our cards. Let's go ahead and have a 10 right there. That takes him out. So we're going to have a 4 in our deck now as well. Love it. We are going to move one more step towards the boss. We literally have maybe 2 more dungeons we can go into, and then it's boss time. Our reward here is we're going to take a level 4 dungeon card of our choice from the reserve and add it to our deck. We could also look at all the cards in one dungeon and place them in any order, but I would prefer to grab this. But its ability states this card's power is equal to the level of the current dungeon, or 5 when fighting the boss. So now we have 2 level 5 cards against the boss. We have 6 dungeons left. The most we can get rid of is 2 of them. I think I am definitely going to go back to our level 5 here. I'm going to try and take out that dwarf champion and whatever's underneath it. In case you forgot, this guy we need to get to an 8, and I only get 1 turn against him instead of 2 turns. I need 8 damage with 1 flip. So we've got a quick strike, which could let me draw another card, a basic, and a basic. No way. Not even close. That can maybe give me 4 or something like that. That's not going to be enough. I need 8. Oh, double the value. Come on, a 5? Done. 5. So what I would do is I play this first, and I double the value or the power of one of our cards. That's a 10. This guy is toast. Oh, I need to draw a 3rd card, though. And this one says if you're in the enchanter, you may draw an extra card. Yeah, who cares about that? We have all of that in our discard pile now. We're going to keep moving through this dungeon. I love how that double the value card gets so good when you get better cards. Oh, we have a giant. We just need to get to a 10, but we get another 5. Too bad we can't use the giant to take out the giant. That would be cool. And we do get 2 turns this time. So we have a 1, we have a 1, and we have a 1. Ugh. A couple of these let us draw extra cards, so let's play them. The guidance is a 1. We'll draw. It's another basic 1. I can remove a card from my discard pile. I don't know if I want to. I still have 2 basic 1s in there. I'll get rid of one of them. So I got rid of one of them. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Nature's Blessing. It says here you may draw 1 extra card if you are the enchanter and the current dungeon is enchanted, which it's not. So I still only get the 1, but I get to draw another card, and I just get a 1. So we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4 here, plus 1 here is 5, and I can remove a card from our discard pile. I'll remove another basic 1. So that's 5 damage, and now we'll do our second turn. We've got a basic 1. Ooh, that could help us with healing. And we have a 2. Oh, that's not going to be enough. 2, 3. No, we're going to have to discard it. I need 5 damage. Oh, I lost that healing. We have that's a 5. Perfect. That'll be enough. We'll take the other 2. If you're in the enchanter, you may discard an enchantment card. We can't do that, but that's okay. That was a total of 5 damage, and we had 5 from before. So this giant is now in our deck. And I definitely think we're going to push through that last card. So let's see what it is. Oh, we have the, what is that? The Serpian's Lasher. At the start of the combat, take 2 random level 2 dungeon cards from the reserve and place them face down in the current dungeon under this enemy. Are you serious, you little twerp? Well, I started combat, so I have to do it. So I'm going to slide these 2 underneath it. We just need a 9 for this guy. Let's go ahead and start our first turn. We've got a 3. We've got our enchanter and a 2. I'm going to keep this hand for sure. I'm going to play my recuperate. I could discard this card from my hand to draw 2 random ones from our discard pile, but there's a lot of 1s in there, so I don't think I'm going to do that. That's 3. This is 2, which is a total of 5. And then I'm going to play our enchanter, which lets us draw an extra card. Oh, nice. At the end of the combat, we can actually move to a different dungeon if we wanted. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's go ahead and enchant a dungeon. Now remember, we can't enchant the dungeon that we're in. We have the Illuminating Wisps. This can only enchant a dungeon of level 4 or higher. During combat in this dungeon, all basic 0s get +1 power. That's stupid because I don't have any basic 0s. So let's just go to the next one. We have Cleansing Entrance. When you enter this dungeon, you may discard this card. If you do, each player may search their deck for 1 card of their choice and put it in their discard pile. Maybe, but I've kind of made my deck awesome. And Glacial Walls. At the start of combat in this dungeon, you may discard this card. If you do, all players may ignore the text on an enemy card. Yes, we're gonna grab the Glacial Walls. I don't think I'm going to be taking on either of the level 6 dungeons. If we take out this one, I'll go to the other level 5. So I'm going to put that here on the level 5 dungeon. We have a total of 7 damage. We only need 9. Here's our second turn. We've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we've got more than enough. You may draw 1 extra card. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this one. So that's going to give us a total of 8, and I can remove a card of our choice from our discard pile. I'm going to remove another basic 1, Sayonara Sucker. I'm not going to draw another card. I'm then going to play this one. I'm not going to use the ability, but that's 3. That's more than enough to defeat this guy. So then this guy will go into our discard pile, and then this one says, when this card is discarded from your hand, I believe that's happening now, I get to shuffle it back into my deck. Thank you very much. And I'm doing that because I'm hoping I can last through these other level 2 enemies. I have 8 cards left in my deck. Maybe that's enough to take out 2 of these guys. All right, we have a Goblin Sneak. The starting player must discard a card from their hand at the start of their play step. Okay, we only need a 4. That means we need 4 damage on 2 cards because I can't use the third one. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you know what? This should work. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start by discarding this level 1 power card. Then I'm going to play the Paladin. Oh no, I'm not going to play the Paladin next. I'm going to play the Firm Grasp. You may draw 1 extra card. Yes. Oh, that'll work. When this card is discarded from your hand or deck, no, it's not. Then what we're going to do is we're going to play our Paladin. We're not going to do the top, but we're going to do the bottom. Each player may shuffle up to 2 cards of their choice of power 1 from their discard pile into their deck. I believe that will include this Calculated Thrust, because I can treat this card as a basic 0 or basic 1 when it's in your discard pile. So I'm going to go ahead and grab both of those, shuffle them in. And so right now we're dealing only 2 points of damage. But then I've got my Calculated Attack. You may treat this card as a basic 0 or basic 1. That's okay. That's the 4. That's more than enough to take this guy out. And now we have Clever Maneuver. Okay, let's push through that last one. This is our last enemy in this dungeon, hopefully. And we have a Goblin Scout. If you continue in this dungeon, the next enemy in this dungeon gets +1 power. Ha! You're the last one. I only need 3 damage here. So let's flip. That's 2. That's 1, and that's 1. Beautiful. That is going to be good enough for everything. Yep, so I think we're good. 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to take it. We now have Dark Sight. And yeah, that's going to end this dungeon. I'm going to push ourselves 1 more space up the track. We can go to 1 more dungeon now. The reward I'm going to choose is you may take a random level 3 dungeon card and add it to your deck. I'm going to just get a stop for 3. 5 dungeons left. Let's go ahead and go to this one. We're starting with that Dwarf Champion. And you know what? We're going to use our enchantment right away. At the start of combat, in this dungeon, you may discard this card. If you do, all players may ignore the text on the enemy card, and the enemy gets +1. Oh, is that +1? Yeah, +1 power. So he's a 9, but we get 2 activations against him. Don't have to worry about his text. We need a total of 9 to defeat this guy. 1, 2, 3. I definitely think I'm going to keep this because first I can play this one, so I can draw an extra card. Okay, it's a basic 1, so we've got 2. But then I'm going to use Dark Sight. You may look at the next card in the dungeon. I kind of wanted to see what that was. So this is the next enemy. We're going to have a level 11 Golden Sphinx. Whenever a player draws a basic card, they discard it and draw a new card. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to have it face up. We're right now dealing 3 damage. We'll do this one. We can draw an extra card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can remove a card. I can't. There's nothing in my discard pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. We need 9. So I'm going to keep that. Let's draw our next 3. 1, 2, 3. Can't do any removing. Oh, can't do any healing. But I do think I'm going to keep this hand because I'm going to play this. There's nothing in my discard pile, but I can draw another card. That's a 6. Ignore the text on your other cards. If this card is in your hand, you must play it before playing any other cards. Well, okay, I can ignore the effects of all my other cards, but that's 6 plus 1 is 7. The text doesn't matter. Done. Done, done, done. We got him. We got another level 6. I like it. A power 6 card. All right, now let's try and take on this Sphinx. Remember with the Sphinx, if I draw a power or a basic 1, because I don't have any basic 0s, I'm just going to immediately discard it and draw a new one. So 1, 2, and 3, and none of those are basics. And looking here, I think I'm just going to keep that hand. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. None of the abilities help us right now, but 7 damage out of the 11 that we need. Let's go again. 1. Oh, that's going to be enough. 2 and 3. Okay. I'm going to play the Tactician just because I want to play the Tactician and then maybe get a weak card on top and then get the Tactician back into my deck. We'll go ahead and grab the Enchanter's skill. I'm not going to use it because there's no more of the dungeons, and that's definitely enough to take the Sphinx out, so that's now into our discard pile. Let's do number 3. Come on, be something really easy. We have a Shrewd Tenefyr. At the start of the combat, the starting player discards cards from the top of their deck until they discard 3 dungeon cards. Okay, so our first one, that's a dungeon card. Our next one, that's a dungeon card and 5 damage. And our next one, that's not a dungeon card. We just lost our Tactician. That's a bummer. And that's a dungeon card. Wow, we just lost 5 plus 4 plus 3. That's, what, 13 damage or 12 damage that we just lost. That guy stunk. We only need 9, though, to take him out. So we'll draw 1, 2. Oh, a basic. Great. And a 2. Well, let's keep it for now, because we'll play this first. We can draw 1 extra card, then discard one of our choice. Oh. Okay, we'll play this. We'll discard the basic 1. So we've got 3 damage there. Then we'll go ahead and play this. If you're the Tactician, which I am, I can copy text on any one of these cards. I'm just simply going to copy our Quick Strike so we can draw an extra card. That's a 0. Oh, that's a level 5. Beautiful. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's actually exactly what we need. Take that for making me discard 4 beautiful cards. I just defeated this guy. Okay, we have 1 more. We definitely have enough cards here. Let's see what we're taking on. Dark Mage. This enemy gains power equal to twice the starting player's total power. Huh. So we want our first draw to be very low. Let's see. Okay, a basic 1, a 0, double the value of one of our cards, and a 1. I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'm only dealing 2 damage. This enemy gains power equal to twice the starting player's total power. So the starting player has 2. So I'm adding 4 to him. So he has a total value of 8. Okay, so I'm going to put some powers by him. He's an 8. We're doing 2 damage right now. That means we now need to deal 6 damage to take him out on the other side. So we've got 3, oh my gosh, 3, 3, and 3, or 3, 3, and 2. What does this one say? You may remove this card from your hand to choose a card from your hand or discard pile and put it into your double the power of that card. No. That's awesome. Against the boss, that'll be great. But if you are the Tactician, you may look at the next dungeon card. No, that doesn't help either because we just took him out. 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. I can't believe that my first card draws were 1s, 0s, and 1s. We now have the hidden power in our deck, and we've gained a reward, but now it's time for the boss fight. We're going to choose from this reward. The starting player gets plus 3 power in the next combat. And any one player, that doesn't help. But 3, beautiful. 3 plus 3 damage right to start us off. This, my friends, is the kit and caboodle. We need to defeat 8 cards here with 1 run through our deck. Highly unlikely, but you never know. I'm starting with 3 automatic power, so we only need a 10 to take out the first card. We'll flip our first one, and we have a 2, and we have our Tactician skill, and we have our Enchanter. Our Enchanter skill is useless. Why? Ugh, Enchanter. Let's start off with the Headbutt. You may draw 1 extra card and then discard a card of your choice from your hand. We've got a Smash. I'm going to go ahead and just discard the Enchanter skill. Yeah, so we're dealing 2 damage there. Then I've got here, that's 4, and I'm going to go ahead and use this and pick any card that I want. I've got to say I love the Tactician because look at that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have to ignore our text, but we've already done this one, so we can ignore it now. And 13 is enough for this first one. Dead. 1 down, 7 to go. Our next one is another Dark Lord one. This one gets plus 1 power for each other card left in the boss deck. So there are 6 other ones, so this is a 15. 15 is going to be fun. We've got a 1, which is going to be just a 1, a 2, and a 6. Okay, 6. All right, yeah, we're going to keep this hand. We have to play this first. We're going to ignore the text on the other two cards. 6, 7, 8, 9. We just dealt 9 damage. We need 15, so we need another 6. 6 damage. I believe in us. We've got 3. We've got to double the power. Beautiful. And we, oh man, okay, I'm going to keep this in my hand. I'm going to play that 3, and I'm going to double it here. Then that means, since I didn't play this card, when this card is discarded from your hand or deck, shuffle it into your deck. I believe that's how that works. So since I didn't have to play it to defeat that card, I'm shuffling it back in. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm doing that right. So I've shuffled that in. We've got 6 plus the 9. That's 15. Number 2 is done. Here is number 3. Let's see. We have +1 power for each uncompleted dungeon. It was an 11 to start with, 12, 13, 14, 15 again. We've used both of our 6 damage cards. I don't know, 15 is insane. Oh, there's a basic 1. 0. This is considered a 5, so we've got 6 there. And yeah, we're going to keep that hand. And now I'm realizing with this repurpose, I could have put out that enchantment, and then I could have discarded to draw 3 extra cards. Well, it is what it is. We've got 3 plus 5, which is 8, and 1 is 9. So we're going to need 6 with our second flip to be able to defeat him. We've got a 2. Oh, I like that one. We've got another 2, and we've got a 1. I think this should work because every one of our cards deals damage except for 1. So we're going to take a chance here. You may draw 1 card. Beautiful. Oh, it's the Minor Blessing. That might have just killed us. That might have just killed us. Because you may draw 1 extra card. When this card is discarded, blah, blah, blah. But that's only giving us 2. Then we've got 2 here, which is 4. Then this one, which is 5. I needed 6. This was literally the only card I couldn't draw that would kill us. We don't have enough to defeat the Dark Lord. Are you serious? 2, 4, 5. I can remove a card. That's useless. I can put cards back into my deck. Great. Yeah, no, I literally think I just lost. If you look at the rest of my cards, all of them would deal damage. This would get me a damage card. The Paladin one, which was 0, would let me double it. Or not double it. Yeah, it would let me increase a power by 1 by discarding a card. Every single other card would have worked. And so I didn't think there was a chance that I was going to draw the Minor Blessing. But I did. Oh, man. So because of that, because I'd already started to play my cards, I can't discard and draw more. And so because I can't get to 15 damage, I couldn't defeat that Dark Lord card. Then there were still all of these ones left. We didn't even get to see the Bog Witch. I'm sorry, you guys. We had 2 Bog Witches, another Dark Lord, and 2 more Bog Witches. I think we were doing pretty gosh darn well, but that's on me. I should have discarded those cards and drawn again, but I really thought 1 out of how many? I mean, look at how many of these cards. Look at that. 1 card would not work. All the rest of these would have. Oh, well. I hope that shows you, though, just how much fun this game is. Man, your deck just levels up quick. It's fun. It's fast. I love playing this. I cannot believe how quickly my deck will change, all the different things I can do with it. Now, I've mostly played solo. Mike really likes it co-op. I've got to try it some more co-op to see, because there's going to be times when you're playing cards and you're not going to be getting the cards as benefits. So I'm interested to see if you kind of feel like your deck isn't nearly as good. I loved solo, though, and how awesome my deck was at the end. That was really fun. I really recommend trying Legendary if you haven't tried it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you at the next stop.